art isn't easy.
You've got to appeal to the people.
Even when you're hot.
Why would one make a painting like that anyhow?
Fencing art is easy.
Something's gotta sell.
Financing it is not.
Why take chances?
Vision's just a vision if it's only in your head.
No one respects your artistic integrity more than I do.
If no one gets to see it, it's as good as dead.
You've got to think about your reputation.
It's got to come to life. Bit by bit, putting it together, piece by piece.
Only way to make a work of art. Every moment makes a contribution. Every little detail plays a part. Having just a vision, no solution. Everything depends on execution. Putting it together, that's what counts. Ounce by ounce, putting it together. Small amounts, adding up to make a work of art. First of all, you need a good foundation. Otherwise, it's risky from the start. Takes a lot of work and dedication, but without the proper preparation, having just a vision's no solution. Everything depends on execution. The art of making art is putting it together.
Art, a three-letter word. Just try and define it.
It's everything and it's everywhere.
It's painting and sculpture, music and dance.
It's literature in all its forms.
It's theater! Brilliant! Thank you! Our readers' theater,
The art of making art.
Features the writings of Irving Stone, Peter Schaff, Stephen Sondheim, and Don McLean.
Each an artist who has put it together bit by bit.
it is a tribute to the artist and his art.
But more than that, it is a look at the artist and his art.
And it asks the question, who controls and who is controlled?
Does the artist control his art?
Or does his art control him?
You may be surprised at the answers we give in the art of making art.
Yes, music has ruled my life from the earliest
Oh,
time.
not just music, Senor Salieri, but the quest for perfect music.
That is true. What I called absolute music.
And did you ever find it?
Yes, once. Well, you see, a note of music is either right or wrong, absolutely. If wrong, it is sour, disgusting, and loathsome. If right, it is beauty, pure pain, ecstasy. Music is God's voice to mankind.
By 10, a beautiful spray of notes would make him dizzy almost to fall.
I lived each moment. I felt each instrument, each note.
By 12, he was stumbling about having audios and anthems of his own composition.
All dedicated to the Lord.
And then one night,
At age 16,
a bargain was struck.
A bargain with God.
Please, dear God, let me be a composer. Grant me the talent, grant me the art, grant me the fame. In return, I will live with virtue.
He never did.
I will be chaste.
He never
I will
was.
strive to better my fellow men.
He never did.
I couldn't. I couldn't because of him.
Who?
Him. Wolfgang. Amadeus.
Mozart?
Yes. The day I met him was the day I died.
But senor, that was more than 60 years ago.
That day my faith died. That day my art died. That very day God died. The day I heard his first symphony.
Senor Salieri,
May I present
the boy prodigy, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
And then the symphony began.
The music started simply enough, just a pulse, pulse, pulse.
It would have been comic. Except for the slowness. And then suddenly, above it sounded a single note on an oboe. Perfect, piercing through. And finally, a clarinet withdrew it out of me. It had me trembling.
The music turned to light.
Blinding lights
It filled the hall.
seared my eyes and burned my ears.
The iris is wailing, one.
Rolling lines of sound around me, each one perfect.
Long lines.
Lines of pain. Finally, I had heard it.
Absolute music.
Not mine, but his. Mozart's. And this pain cut deeper into my soul, and I cried out to God, "What is this? What is this? Suddenly I was running, dashing through the side door, away from that applause and adulation that was filling my ears. It was driving me out into the night, into the cold and into the darkness.
Run!
Running away from that sheer perfection, which was not mine, but his.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart!
I had heard the voice of God, the pure perfection of God in that music. But it was coming from
An obscene child.
Yes, I'm afraid. Stop.
It's a gift, you know.
Some of us have it, and some of
At
us.
the moment I buried myself in my work, in my operas, in my anthems, in my compositions, in my private lessons, and I cried out for just one thing. Let your voice enter me. Let me be your instrument. Let me make music like that.
But it never happened.
My work was
Mediocre at best, my dear Salieri. Sorry.
I didn't have the gift. That little beast had it. And this proved it to me. There is no God. He could not have spoken through this ripple. And so I determined I had to kill him. I had no choice.
Kill him?
Oh, not with a sword or a gun. I killed him with the talent God gave him. I drove him to write music.
Very clever, Salieri.
Each composition drained him. Each opera left him weaker. Each symphony drew life from him. I drove him to death writing music. 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 But it all turned against me. I could never kill what I loved.
Mozart?
No. His music. I could never kill his music, his art, his gift.
It was the voice of God.
If you believe in God. And I don't believe. I know. And his absolute music, compared to mine, will haunt me through eternity.
Art isn't easy. Art isn't easy. Art isn't easy.
Sometimes you are forced to create when you wish you could do other things.
By bit, he can see that now. He couldn't see it then. We were together. And I fought against it.
Cast your eyes up, ladies and gentlemen, up to the ceiling. It is the crowning masterpiece of a sculptor.
The greatest sculptor the world has ever known,
Michelangelo Buonarroti, Your Eminence, is at your service.
who didn't want to paint.
Rise, Michelangelo. What are you about with these large blocks of Carrara marble?
Look, Excellency, here in the marble. Moses down from Sinai. God's anger in his eyes.
In the mind of Michelangelo.
No, here, just sleeping in the stone. The sculptor only cuts them loose.
I have a new commission for you, Buonarroti.
But I am engaged. I have 4 more figures to sculpt for the
The
tomb.
tomb can wait. They've decided to use art to glorify the church, and where better to glorify the church than here, in St. Peter's, in the Sistine Chapel. Already 2,000 men labor in its construction, but your work shall be its crowning glory.
I cannot possibly sculpt that many
You will not
figures.
sculpt, Michelangelo. You will paint.
Paint.
Yes, paint in fresco.
I have never
It
painted
is
in
decided. You will paint the ceiling of the dome.
the ceiling. In fresco. Impossible. It's not a flat surface. The perspective would be too difficult. It had to be done in small sections. While the plaster is still fresh. It can't be done. Can't be done.
That is why I have chosen you, Buonarroti. You will find a way. It is your commission from God. You may begin tomorrow.
But then
could it be that you are afraid?
No.
Then it is settled. You will decorate my chapel. That is all. Dismissed.
But Eminence,
dismissed. Why must you always have the last word? Remember, Buonarroti. Tomorrow.
And so the work began. Months of building the scaffolding to reach the ceiling 70 feet above the floor.
Months to prepare the surface and execute its designs.
I reject them all, Michelangelo. I have decided the ceiling will be painted in the likeness of the 12 apostles, with Peter in the center.
I can only paint what comes from me. It must be my art.
It must come from God, his art.
Through me.
Very well, my artist, through you. But it must please me.
And me, Excellency.
It was 6 months before the work began in earnest. A large section of plaster made of sand and lime was prepared and applied.
And Michelangelo would lie on his back and paint that portion of plaster before it dried.
The work was arduous. Paint and mortar dripped in his face as he worked. The lime left him partially blind for days on end.
He never fully regained his
Twice
sight.
he ran away from this overwhelming task.
Only to be hunted down and brought back to Rome in chains.
You will stay and complete this task. Why do you run away?
Because it is not right. 4 times I have started, and each time I have destroyed what was complete. Because it is not right.
I was pleased.
I was not.
Because it was not perfect.
Yes, because it is not worthy of
Me?
No. Of me and of God.
I planned a ceiling, Buonarroti. You have planned a miracle.
And then one day, in the least likely place, Michelangelo received his inspiration.
No more the 12 apostles.
None of his thing.
He would paint God himself at the moment of creation, breathing the breath of life into man. The ability to create.
Said it is. Sight of God!
This is obscene. They are naked. Obscene.
Obscene, shameful, obscene. Nudity in the house of his glory.
This man takes his inspiration from the pagan Greeks who glorify the body in its face nakedness, Your Eminence. You must stop him.
He has turned your holiness chapel into a pagan temple.
Well, Buonarroti, what have you to say?
Nothing.
Nothing? Then I should heed the critics and order the ceiling repainted?
The book of Genesis describes Adam as being uncovered. What would you have me do? Put bridges on him and improve on Holy Writ?
You profane the Holy
A
Scriptures.
naked body is not a fit subject for art.
God created man in his own image.
Blasphemy!
He created man with pride, not with shame. He left it to you priests to create shame.
And now heresy.
I will paint man as God created him, in the glory of his nakedness, or I will not paint him at all. Just as I will paint the truth, as I see it, in spite of all the bigots and hypocrites in Rome. Why do you bring fools in to judge my
Enough!
work?
Enough! We have heard from piety, and we have heard from learning, and both are wrong. The ceiling will not be changed. When will you learn respect? When will you learn that when you mock my cardinals, you mock me? And when you mock me, you mock God and his church. Why must I suffer your insolence any longer?
Because of the ceiling, sire.
This ceiling, this endless purgatory of a ceiling, does that forgive you everything? I wish I had never commissioned it. When will you make an end?
When I am finished.
I have suffered your insolence for the last time. Your commission is at an end. The ceiling will be finished by Raphael.
My ceiling?
No, it is God's ceiling, and you will not go near it again until you humble yourself before God.
Don't you mean to you?
Insolence! Insolence!
Michelangelo, don't let it end this
Please,
way.
It's too
Michelangelo.
late. He is withdrawing the commission.
Can you think of no condition under which you might restore it? Even if it means swallowing that mighty pride of yours. Once and for all, do you want to finish that ceiling of yours?
More than life itself.
Then finish
Go
it.
to him. Bend your knee, that is all.
He finished it 5 years after he began and created the miracle he sought, the marvel of the art world. 500 years later, it remains the greatest single artistic achievement of man. The Sistine ceiling. 1,000 square yards of perfection. In color, scope, perspective, in subject, in art. Put together, stroke by stroke, piece by piece, bit by bit. Art isn't easy.
If you don't control your art, it will drive you mad.
Art isn't easy.
If you don't control your art, it will control you.
Art isn't easy. But you must understand, my friend. The art is inside of me. Well, it screams inside my head to get out.
A man with a red beard sat at his easel and stroked heavily at the bright yellows and oranges of the flowers on his canvas.
They did not seem real, yet somehow they were alive. Energy sprang from them, but they lived almost ready to explode with life.
You're a strange man, my friend. You work like the devil, yet you never sell a painting. How much longer, Vincent?
Until I conquer this demon inside of me. Well, this voice that whispers paint. Paint! Paint!
What will consume you, it eats you up inside. It drives you mad.
It drives you mad. Mad!
The petition was circulated throughout La Martine and signed by
90 men and 72 women.
to Mayor Trudeau. We, the undersigned citizens of Arles, are firmly convinced that
Vincent Van Gogh?
is a dangerous lunatic.
Not fit to be left at large.
We hereby call upon you as mayor to have this madman.
Locked up? But this is ridiculous. Vincent is no threat to anyone.
Monsieur Gauguin.
I should know I live with the
He should be
man.
put away.
Oh, good.
But why? What have I done?
Your ear, Vincent. You cut.
Gauguin did a portrait of Vincent, while Vincent worked feverishly at the blue and yellow canvas in front of him.
I am finished. Would you like to see yourself as others see you, Vincent?
Vincent stared at the portrait.
Well, Vincent, what do you think?
For the first time, he understood clearly just what this man
His best friend.
thought of him.
Why, yes, it is me. But it's me. Gone. Mad!
He's up too late. The glass grazed his head.
You've raised a flow of blood.
I'm sorry, my friend. I don't know what happens. Sometimes.
I forgive you, Vincent, with all my heart. But it could happen again.
He might harm you with
A knife?
dangerous.
Sorry, I'm leaving.
But you can't.
And why not?
Because we must work together.
Together?
Yes, you and I. Seurat, Cézanne, Lautrec, Rousseau. We must all work on the same canvas.
But your colors, Vincent.
And your subjects, Vincent.
You have never sold a painting, and they're all masters.
A nice landscape?
Ha! And what do you call it? A starry night?
Starry, starry night.
You're indeed mad, my friend, and so I shall leave in the morning.
Paint your palette blue and gray. But then look out for the summer's day.
Lavish of blackbirds came down out of the sky.
In my soul.
Thousands of calling, beating blackbirds. They came down on Vincent, engulfed him. Flew through his eyes, his nose, his mouth, his ear, his hair. They buried him in a thick, black, endless cloud of flapping wings.
Farewell, Vincent.
Do not laugh at me. My art, my ideas.
Raising you, madman.
Never laugh at me.
He lifted the razor.
He felt the keen stare
Against his ear.
Blackbirds everywhere.
Inside of him.
All around him.
Silence!
right here had once been, but
would never be again.
You are welcome here, Vincent.
The gate of the insane asylum locked behind him.
during the next 3 years, Vincent van Gogh battled for his sanity, and he painted. He painted over 100 paintings while in the asylum of Saint-Denis.
All of them were masterpieces, but none of them ever sold during his lifetime.
However, 2 sold last year for over $80 million.
Now I understand what you tried to say to me, to how you suffered for your sanity, to how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. And when no hope was left inside on that starry, starry night, you took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you then too. This world was never meant for one as beautiful as